In today's video, I'll be going over how to set up every single map defensively, how to site setup, where to place the reinforcements, feet holes, rotations, and even why. So be sure to tag a friend and let me know which map is your least favorite to defend and which is your favorite to defend, and let me know what defender you use. Anyways, guys, let's get into it. Starting with kids' dorms, first thing, shoot the glass off any windows just so you can hear when they repel. It makes it much easier. Start out by making a rotate on kids. The head hole here is really dependent on the team that you're playing with. So some people reinforce this off. Some people like to make head holes like this. It's really up to you and your teammates. Just ask them before you do anything. Make feet holes over here on big window. Make white head holes here. I like to even sometimes make a vaultable rotate. Reinforce this kid's wall. Reinforce beside the trophy wall. Get attic. Also pop this hatch just so if enemies push through attic deep, they might drop through, or it's just another line of sight where one of your roamers can maybe flank them. After reinforcing all the attic holes, make sure that you guys are also reinforcing off the main games walls. And just like that, you have everything reinforced. I like to make holes above this as well, just so I can see 4 over. If I'm playing mute or smoke, personally, I like to extend all the way here in armory. I pop the hatch here. I make head holes. And you're going to want to make sure to reinforce off this wall as well, because even if you guys aren't playing this deep, a lot of the times enemies can wallbang this, and then if one of their teammates can kill the guy on attic if you guys do make the head hole. So that's really dependent if you guys make the head hole there. But yeah, you guys are really going to want to play around site, try to get some utility on white, get some utility on armory, some utility attic, and like I said, I like to play armory side and just contest master belk as long as possible. Shoot some drones, get a frag or two, and then if I have to, I push back. Next, we got kitchen dining. This site's a little bit weird, so let's go ahead and just get the reinforcements down. Start off by reinforcing the back meeting walls. Then go ahead and make head holes on this dining single. Make a rotate in bathroom. Make a full hole on the left side here, and then reinforce beside the wall. This will give whoever's playing inside showers an opportunity to contest the person from walking in or jumping in the window. Go ahead and reinforce off of both of these dining walls. I would really suggest bringing like a cade or even something just for the main wall. Mute's always good. Just watch the people going above. You can always see for them, or you can bang them. You can also make vertical here if you guys really want to. This is for the door right here, as you can tell. And if they try to place a thermite charge or anything like that, you can go ahead and, shotgun them. This site is a little odd. I would make sure I'm making a rotate in security just so I can extend and contest the enemies if I need to. I'm going to go ahead and make another rotate in security just for another line of, sight. Something I would highly suggest is go and reinforce the kids' hatch as well. And bring lots of shields if you guys can. And make sure you're not just sitting in sight. Make sure you're extending and playing the rooms around sight. Like, for example, showers hall. Because they're going to be going for that main wall. A lot of enemies don't really play for the meeting take, which is, the B-bomb. So, yeah, that's everything I would set up. Everything I would reinforce. You have 5 extra, so you can really get creative with the last 5 and do whatever you need to. Next up, we're a meeting kitchen. Unlike the other weird dining site, we're going to go ahead and reinforce off this single hatch right here. I said hatch, the single wall. Now, I would suggest playing above, so pop this hatch, and you guys are going to want to extend above. I will show you why here in a second. Make a rotate on this side of the wall for the box, not the right side, because if you do that, then they'll have a direct line of sight into, sight. Reinforce off the right single wall right here. Reinforce off the left single wall right here. Reinforce the hatch if you guys want to. This is all personal preference. Once again, if you guys are holding above, then maybe you want to pop it. I'm just going to pop it for this example. Reinforce off the stage walls. Now, the last 5 reinforcements, you guys have to play for above, and you guys need to play above when playing the site. You can reinforce off this attic double walls as well. Make sure you're making a rotate in security. Pop the freezer hatch as well. And then make lines of sight in security. The reason why you're doing this is for any type of retake capability. I'm just going to go ahead and reinforce this wall because I made the hole too much. But this gives you the ability to play inside security, have protection, and you can contest the single. You're going to also want to make vertical holes for a big window here. So whoever's playing in kids around the hatch, they don't need to worry about their big window because you can be watching it at all times. You can also make lines of sight for top white and for the tuck of, you know, the big window. This is very complex though, so don't just make the holes and then not play them. Now make some more holes for the person that's above. So if anybody tries to walk in and try to plant, they have another line of sight they have to worry about. And then from there, the only other vertical hole I'd really make is right here. And that's just so nobody plants tucked. You can reinforce off this right wall if you guys want. That is, once again, also personal preference. I would suggest using the last 4 above for anybody that's playing above. Last but not least, we have laundry. Make the default rotate in laundry. Make the head holes on single, just so you can watch backstairs. Make a rotate into elbow on the left side, not right. Make head holes and then reinforce beside. Reinforce off the far left of E-box. The reason why is because if you have a mirror or just in general, if somebody takes back tower, then they can just cut off any rotation capability. I like to make feet holes here just for basically late round. If the enemies are pushing and we reinforced off elbow, I can, you know, shoot the person in the foot or walking by. Reinforce off the far left freezer wall. And then make head holes beside it. Now, this main wall right here is really dependent on the squad that you're playing with. I've seen people do these head holes and then play the hard wall to basically, you know, swing the guy freezer. It just makes it hard for contesting laundry. And I've seen vice versa. This is all personal preference, and if you guys have a mirror. Reinforce beside the elbow rotate, and then we're going to go above and get E-box hatch. Now, something I do like to do while I'm getting the hatch is if I have a shotgun, I like to create ghost pressure, or what a lot of people call phantom pressure. Now, basically, what that is it's just making lines of sight, opening doors, opening any walls that the enemies will have to worry about. So, for example, I'm sitting up here. I'm making vertical for the back tower stairs in the meeting. And this will just create some anxiety. It's going to waste some time more than anything. This is also good if I have a roamer. But they're going to drone T2, which is tower 2 up here. They're going to make sure every nook and cranny is clear. And this is going to shave off some seconds. That's going to make them paranoid from seeing this. It's just an illusion, basically. Now, in terms of site setup on elbow, this is really up to you and your team. But this is just the basic overall reinforcements that I would be doing every single time, just to keep nice and default. As soon as the enemies get control towards bunker, make sure you guys are backing up if you can't contest them anymore, and reinforcing this off after some time. Starting out, we're going to go bedroom. First thing you do, shoot the radio. This thing is super annoying. Make feet holes along the gym. Make a rotate very close to the far right. You want to do is limited amount of sight, just so the enemies, if they're on this window, they won't have a direct line of sight for you if you're trying to rotate. Now, depending on exactly what you guys are doing, you can reinforce the wall beside it. And the reason why you would do this is because you're cutting off anybody line of sight from this window. So you're basically just having a protection layer. But this can work against you if the enemies try to plant and they jump in. Now, in terms of the rotate right here, see this window right here? Do not make the rotate on the right side. Do the left side. Once again, you have the protection. You don't need to worry about that window. But when people make a rotate here, that's a lines of sight that gets cut off. Now, depending if you guys have a mirror or not, I would just let your mirror set up. But usually there's always a rotate in the con right here, and the mirrors right here on the right side. Now, I see on console players do it the other way around, but the problem with that is if you place a thermite right here, it can sometimes go off and explode the mirror. Pop the hatch here, make head holes for the con single here, and reinforce this outer con single, because you know you don't want them just getting free reign of construction and have pinpoint cutoffs on site. Reinforce off this single logi wall as well. I'm assuming if you guys have a mirror or not, you would do that anyways. Go up to this jacuzzi wall and reinforce both of them. What's interesting about this site is it's actually, in my opinion, one of the best sites for this map. But the problem is a lot of people just play wrong because they do too much, or they overroam, or they don't bring enough utility. If you just sit in sight on this map and you're just sitting there basically beating your meat, waiting for the enemies to collapse on you, what's going to happen is you guys aren't going to be able to take back very much map control. So the thing about this is you need to rotate and play cache side, which is over here. Now, as you can tell, I only have 4 reinforcements, and that's because I reinforced one of the gym walls, like I said at the start of this. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to reinforce off the closest server walls. And then the last 2, we're going to put it on this red wall. Now, depending on your team and who they're playing, you can actually make a rotate for top red, and you guys can extend out and play it. So what you would be doing here, placing a shield and basically contesting them from walking in server. Now, you would need some type of utility, probably for red stairs, like some barbed wire, some goo mines, just something like that. But entirely, you would just be wasting time and making them, you know, push you out, waste utility on your shield, and just push back. But this is the basic setup for gym that honestly you should be doing almost every single time. If you do end up not reinforcing that wall right there, then you can reinforce right here, but it's really up to you. Also, I have seen this wall sometimes be right here. It's really about how you guys are playing, but once again, next up we're heading over to cache/CCTV room, and here's another site that's usually played very wrong. Starting off, make head holes on top garage right here, and then reinforce beside it. Now, don't make a rotate in rafters. If you make a rotate in rafters here, guys, you're just allowing anybody that jumps in server window to, you know, run at the zombie that's rafters, or even like if they take rafters control late round, they can easily just take the map. Reinforce off bottom garage G1 and G2. Now, why is it called G1 and G2? Garage 1 and Garage 2 is just a good way to say Garage 1 wall, Garage 2 wall. That being Garage 1, this being Garage 2. Make sure you guys are reinforcing all 4 of these walls. Literally have somebody at the start of the round just go sprint down here. You'll get a lot of drones coming in from this, you know, garage door here. Make sure you guys are putting a rotate on red. Make sure you guys are putting a head hole on red as well. And then the middle wall, you're going to want to reinforce. And then the last 2 walls that you're going to be reinforcing are going to be the single and the other con single. Now, the last 2 reinforcements that you guys are going to have, you guys can extend down below if you guys wanted to. Try to do something with that. Make sure you guys pop this hatch right here. Make head holes for the rafters, so you can, you know, play cache boxes, try to contest anybody walking up. And then the last 2 walls are going to be on the main wall. This is one of the sites that you need to use all 10 reinforcements to be successful. So make sure you have somebody at the start of the round, maybe a zombie playing rafters. You have somebody watching for this jump-in window. Usually somebody plays right here in cubby. checks cams, and just listens for audio. And then make sure you have somebody red. The last two people can be literally anywhere playing off any of those prominent positions that people are playing. And let's head over to bar stage next. Okay, starting off, shoot the jukebox. It is very annoying. This is one of the sites that people will probably sway away from, especially in the average ranks or lower ranks, and that's completely fair. But let me show you how to set it up. So when holding this area, I like to extend all the way into strip. Now the reason being is because you can hold a lot of the prominent map parts and basically hold super long angles. So starting off, get this 2 strip walls. Go over to the back end of strip, make feet holes right here, and then reinforce the wall beside it. What this allows you to do is have some cover, but also have multiple angles that you can, contest them, watch their feet, all that good stuff. You can pop the hatch if you want a quick rotate. I'm going to reinforce off the kitchen hallway walls. That's just so you can basically not get shot from the cage hallway, and you can play behind the bar if needed. Now, if you want to, you can make a rotate here. This is really dependent on your team once again. This just gives you another line of sight for if they're trying to push in. You can play from bottom main. But once again, you are a little bit exposed from the person in kitchen if they go kitchen. Reinforce off the stage walls. And the last 2 could go for the hatch that's in con and the other hatch that's in pool, because that's usually what the enemies are going to be taking. It's really up to you if you want to do that. What's good about this site, though, guys, is there's a lot of vertical play. Basically, a lot of the default plants on this site, for example, are like tucked right here or tucked in this corner, right when they get off the stage. So you can have vert for that. You can also have vert for the double door. You can also make vert for the stage. And then you can also make vert if you guys are playing above around the weight set, so you can actually contest if they jump in the window or take strip. Once again, I would highly suggest bringing probably like a castling off this double window, castling off this single door, and castling off the cage hallway being right here. And if you guys wanted to, you can also castle off the kitchen, so the person that's behind the bar is protected. Or a really good, strong power play is placing a castle barricade right here, and then you can prone right here and then watch if they walk in lounge. Maestro is also a very strong operator on this site as well, guys. So if you guys are Maestro players, that is also fire. But basically, you're going to want people playing vertical so you guys can contest if they take map control. At the same time, having people in strip, holding super long angles and being able to just beam anybody that gets this main wall, because that's usually how they attack this. Let's head over to basement. Now, these site setups kind of are interchangeable, but once again, I am trying to give you default site setups so you guys can, know how to start setting up site, if that makes sense. So make sure you guys do rotates on dummies and rotates on triple blue. Go ahead and reinforce beside the dummies wall. Sometimes you'll have a mirror playing on this wall, so reinforcing this is literally needed every single time. On the triple wall here, I blew up the gas canister. Anyways, open the triple wall on the far left side and then reinforce the middle and the far right. Once again, if we're talking about the mirror play, you usually place the mirror in the middle. And what's cool about this is you can make holes here to C4 the bottom of main stairs. I didn't mean to throw that. And you can also C4 main, like literally on the platform here. Now, the only downside to this, guys, is they can actually get vertical play right here, and it can see into whoever's playing around this area. So just keep an eye out for that. Reinforce off the single wall here on triple blue, just so it cuts off another line of sight if they take deep oil. Now, usually what you guys will see is somebody making a rotate right here. Now, I don't like this rotate, so just keep in mind you're going to see this a lot. I like to just reinforce this off, and you'll see why. And then I like to make a crouchable rotate here, make head hole here for C4 over. But the reason why I'm doing this is because when they do go for this hatch, they have a cutoff on the double door. And I absolutely hate that. Now, keep in mind that is personal preference. Some people will disagree with me, and that's completely fine, but that is why I do it. I'm gonna reinforce off dirt. Dirt is a very slept on part of attack on basement clubhouse. I don't see people attacking this enough anymore, and that's usually because what ends up happening as attackers, you guys will basically try to clear off the map, and a lot of times you don't need to clear the entire map, guys. You literally just need to go for hatch, dirt, and then if you guys are going for blue, go for the blue hatch. You don't need to go top down, meaning clearing the entire map from the top to the down, because you're feeding into what the roamers want. Now be sure to reinforce off the main hatch as well. This is essential. Literally anybody who doesn't have utility should be going for this, like a Legion, Wamai, anybody like that. Go for this next like hatch in bar, and then the very last hatch is going to be in blue. You guys need to get all 3 of these hatches. If you don't, you're actually trolling yourself. And that is how you set up clubhouse, guys. Okay, so we are starting on Consulate's top floor, being console office slash meeting room. This site is very interesting because the amount of angles, but starting off, make sure that you guys reinforce off this double wall right here, just the far right side. Reinforce beside yourself so you don't get shot from the bathroom. Make head holes beside it, just so you're able to contest. And you can also make holes here, and you can have multiple angles. You can, you know, somebody swings in, somebody swings long desk side, somebody swings from the breach. The only downside of this is you do have to watch the bathroom angle. Next, make sure that you get death balcony wall, being this single wall. This is probably the main point of attack that enemies are going to be doing. I like to do feet holes as well here and right here, just so if they are pushing, you know, I can get some type of intel, and I can hold a long angle deep in the site, being, you know, back here, and I can just get information whether they're pushing up or not. Next up, you're going to want to reinforce the top Visa single wall, being this one. The reason why is because if they get this, they get a lot of cutoffs, and people will breach this and just have a lot of angles, and especially to slide door. So it's going to be very hard for you to retake the map. I like to reinforce off the single wall right here, beside the feet hole, and then same thing right here. The main reason why you're reinforcing this one as well is because if you're long desk guys and you're trying to come back and retake site, and they opened up the breach and they just randomly start shooting, it's just super annoying. So that's why I reinforced that. Next, you're gonna want to go ahead and make head holes here and reinforce beside it. The reason why you're doing this is because if they take top yellow, you now have an angle to hide behind. Of course, you got to watch out for this window. Shoot the glass off so you can have some sound information. And then the last 3 reinforcements are really up to you. I like to reinforce off this yellow single just so they don't have quick entry. But overall, you have 2 reinforcements left over, which you can really do with what you want, in all honesty. Some suggestions I would tell you to make is watch out for the big window rush. Make some vertical from below just so they can't just rappel in or feel safe. And then the same thing for the desk area. You can watch them jump in the closet as well, which I don't see enough people doing this angle. But if you're going to make these angles, just make sure that you're actually playing them, because they can, you know, hurt you more than anything if you're not playing them. Some other holes that I would suggest maybe making is lay round. If you're able to, you can maybe even get some holes for the main breach here. And if they walk in, they might just feel uncomfortable and feel like, you know, what the hell is happening? Is somebody below me? Type thing. And then just holes here if they walk in and try to go for another plant, being right here. This is also a pain in the ass. So yeah, this is how you set up upstairs. Now you're not gonna see this site played that much. It's actually kind of a weird site, but yeah, this is piano. So reinforce off the single wall here. Go ahead and make feet holes right here for the closet jump in. Now Castle's a strong power play operator on this site, so if you guys are a Castle player, you can go pretty heavy. Castle off the closet door right here. Stop them from contesting. Now, I have a specific strat that I like to do here, but in terms of default, I would personally try to extend inside lobby. So make a rotate here that's vaultable, and then have somebody basically playing on this desk. Maybe bring a Jaeger, Wamai, play some Wamai discs all around this, and get some barbed wire for the Visa hallway, and just basically try to contest this as long as possible, because they will be trying to go for this lobby wall. Back in sight, go ahead and reinforce off this bench hallway. On my strat that I like to do, that I made up, I like to make feet holes here, but basically I would just be extending in tellers. You can reinforce off the sidewall, and I would say don't completely reinforce off site, because that's just going to be awful. But you can just put, you know, a feet hole here so you can see if anybody comes up. I just like to do holes like that so I can C4 over. Now, in terms of the hatches, guys, this is really up to you and how you guys want to play the map. If you guys like to play vertical and extend, meaning you're not just sitting in sight, which is what you guys should be doing, I would make the holes that I'm making right now, just so you have the ability to contest if they, you know, take the site without you guys being upstairs. I would pop this hatch, of course, if you guys are going to extend. Make the desk holes. If you guys want to play inside the closet, you guys... I'm making the wrong hole, my fault. You guys can watch the big window from right here in sight, and you can help the people that's playing above, whoever's playing in sight. If they try to rappel in, you can even see for the window if you wanted to. I would highly suggest having somebody playing in lobby, like I said. Maybe somebody playing off of his contact right here on the reinforcement. Having a third person sitting in sight, manning the cams, and then having 2 people upstairs. You guys have 5 reinforcements left, so you guys can go ham. You guys can reinforce off the single yellow wall, of course. Reinforce off the death balcony as well, because as we know, people are going to be taking this breach very quickly. Cool voice crack. And you guys have 3 reinforcements left, so if you guys really wanted to, you can also kind of do the same upstairs strat almost. I'm reinforcing this single wall, holding down meeting, reinforce this if you wanted to, make some head holes, and then yeah, Valkyrie is super strong on this site as well, especially if the man that's in sight is manning the cams, and you know, he places a cam somewhere in meeting. You can waste a lot of time, and then retreat back to site if you need to, which is also cool because you guys can play below, and if they try to plant behind this piano, you can see 4 right side of the breach, left side. And even if they try to plant right here, I'm pretty sure they would still die. Which, honestly, I haven't seen a round go that far to the point where people lose upstairs control and then the enemies just plant. So let's actually test this, since I'm basically finished this strat. So I'm going to place the C4 in the middle there. This should kill me, right? It definitely should. Let's see. Oh, yeah, 100%. Planting right here? Yeah. Next up, we have server tellers. This is also an interesting part of the map, and it's somewhere that I don't see anybody usually play unless they're in Pro League. So this is a split site, meaning there's a bomb site below, bomb site above. How do you play this? Well, I would personally reinforce off the 3 walls being in sight, then go downstairs where you guys are going to be mainly holding. Make a rotate in the blue. I would place like a shield around this area just so you can contest. Make another rotate. Reinforce off the single wall over here. If you guys want to, be sure to go get the dirt little single that's up there as well. And this is kind of crucial. You guys need to go you guys need to go reinforce off this garage wall. The reason being is because you guys need to try to have presence over here, because this is going to be the most common area for people to try to take so they can contest you. So reinforcing this, placing a body around this area, just getting sound info, shooting drones, and then pushing back is great. I would also suggest reinforcing the Visa hatch upstairs. Now, both Visa hatches, actually. The reason why is because a majority of you need to play 1 pulse and then C4s. Because you guys need to be able to scan all of sight and then C4. So you're going to want to make vertical basically everywhere for this to make them feel super uncomfortable. If they do take that map control and your teammate doesn't have a C4, it's overall just a good rule of thumb. Because they're basically fighting for the inside of tellers, which is super irritating. So just make some holes. You can even make some holes for Visa door and the Visa window being around this area when they walk in, and the other window being right here. I like to do an off angle, by the way, with when I make holes, because I have protection. I'm not straight under it, and it's kind of making them like lean at a weird angle. Basically, your main premise would be being down here, playing C4s, having pulse, Valkyrie, any cams being in sight, and making their lives a living hell. Because even if they get in here, they're getting C4'd. If they jump up here, they're still getting C4'd. Like, everywhere they're getting C4'd, it is super irritating, super annoying. And, yeah, like, seriously, try playing the site and see how the attackers play it, because they'll be fighting for their lives, I'm telling you. Okay, so now we're going to the very last, being the default basement garage. Start off by going upstairs, getting the hatch, reinforcing these 2 main garage walls. From here, make a rotate in between sites, being right here. Make a head hole here. Reinforce beside the head hole so you have protection. From here, make a vaultable rotate into office. The reason why you make it vaultable, because if they take sight, then, you know, they have to, jump over. Look at this. Hey. 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 Hold up. Let me make sure I'm not trolling you guys. Oh, yeah. Big head holes here. Listen, man, I don't know what it is. I've been playing Siege for 10 years, and still sometimes when I do videos like this, I question if I'm doing something wrong. Jesus, man. Alright, yeah. Okay, next, you're going to want to... This is personal preference. Some people make head holes here, and they reinforce right here, because a lot of teams will do a back take, and some players do the other way around. I would do it this way, just because if you're playing on radio pillar, you can now contest the people pushing backside if they're doing a back take. If they start to take the front take, you just go over here, and then you have multiple angles to contest them instead of just having that boring, one-off angle. I would go backside and either reinforce these walls off, or if you guys are going to play back here, make them waste a breach. So come back here and reinforce the single, and then reinforce the dirt single up here, because it just literally makes them waste a hard breach. Makes them also waste time droning and all that good stuff, instead of just like sledging. And then if you guys are gonna play back here, literally just shoot drones, and as soon as you shoot some drones, back up a little bit. You don't need to fall way back into sight, but no point in playing in that open area with, little utility back here. Reinforce the single wall, and then, the last 2 reinforcements, like I said, one of them would be for the hatch in piano, and the other could be for the backside, or it could be for the Visa hatch as well, so they don't pop it and drop and have an angle on the person that's playing tucked in this corner. Starting with master bedroom / office. Starting off, you're going to want to make head holes on this ivy wall. Now, what ivy is it's this like hallway area right here outside of piano double. You're going to want to reinforce right beside it, and I'm going to show you why in a second. I will explain everything. Keep in mind, this is very default stuff, so if you guys are in copper to anywhere to champion, this site setup should be pretty default, not going to lie. Basically, the whole reason why you're making the head hole here is because the person that's half wall now has cover, and they have the opportunity to swing anybody that's Ivy Hall on the stairs, on the bookcases, or just pushing up. It just creates almost phantom pressure for enemies because it's an angle that you can swing. What phantom pressure is, guys, is it's basically just pressure that's just there based on a question of you could be there type thing, if that makes sense. Go ahead and make a nice little head hole here. Now, I'm going to show you why. You're going to see two different types of rotates. Some people make the rotate here. Some people like to make the rotate here. I prefer this one. The reason being is I can rotate and have cover. Sure, the piano window's there, but if I'm rotating, I'm doing it with a peace of mind, basically. This basically allows you to also C4 over for the default half-wall plant. And also play the angle if they open the main breach. Shoot the glass so you have audio when they're repelling. Go ahead and make feet holes on this library, not library, on this top solar wall. And then reinforce beside it. This just creates another phantom pressure for the staircase. You can play it all the way back in closet. Go ahead and make a rotate in the closet area. Now, some people might do this one. My problem with this compared to that is, honestly, I just like the ability to fight somebody if I need to, and just having the little bit of extra time, you know, not being open to this swing. When you're in top solar, you can make vertical for the solar or the trophy jump in. You can also make vertical for west main. This is highly effective because people like to rat and try to walk up this staircase right here. Now, I would also reinforce the closet walls here, just so you can actually rotate in between sites, not have somebody sitting on bathroom window just cutting you off. And the last 4 reinforcements, I would actually use them to extend top solar. The reason being is because you can actually go ahead and just reinforce off this single right here, and then you can make a head hole right here, and then you can contest the guy library. You can also basically watch the walk up from snowmobile if you really wanted to. You can make this hole. I don't know why I made the bar hole. So the last 3 reinforcements up to you. You can use them on this box, or you can even extend downstairs into dining. But the main reason why you're doing these reinforcements over here in library is so you actually play over here and contest the people from getting the main breach. Next, we're going to go bar gaming. Now, bar gaming, you're going to want to make the rotates on the far right wall here. This is called pickle door, by the way. It's a very odd call-out, but you'll hear it. Pop the hatch. Make head holes right here and right there. Reinforce the little cellar wall here, or stock wall. Reinforce the single wall right here as well. Now, you can reinforce off this wall beside the head holes. It just gives the person cover if they're on the inner bar here, and then you know you can swing, or opposite, you can play, you know, right here, and then you have cover. Go ahead and make feet holes for dining. Make a hole here for the fireplace extend, because what you're going to be actually doing here in a second is we're going to be going above, and we're going to be playing vertical. Now, you can reinforce this wall, by the way, if you want to, and same with this wall. This is really dependent on how your teammates are playing. I would suggest putting some type of pressure over here in dining with some type of utility, because usually they like to walk, so you can barricade that for audio. You can even reinforce this single wall so they don't get a long angle. It really depends on what you guys want to do and what you're worried about. But we have 6 reinforcements, so let's head upstairs. Usually you have a mirror, by the way, and you place a mirror right here on this wall facing towards the window. So when we go top library, you actually are going to want to reinforce these 2 double walls. And the reason why is because if they get the office area, they now have a line of sight for top Ivy or the library staircase, basically. And it's super, super, super annoying. So you're making them waste utility on this wall. Now, kind of like the other site, we're going to reinforce the single wall here. You're going to make head holes. And if you have a mirror, place a mirror here. Usually, you would have somebody playing a shield here if you don't have a mirror. reinforce off this hatch in box, because if they get up here control, then they'll probably collapse and have all sight basically. Go ahead and just reinforce off this hatch as well so they can't shoot you from the single. And from here, you can actually play dark spot area, which is this corner. You can have vertical here. You can have the windows. You can basically stop everything all around you. Now, the last reinforcement, you can use it right here as well. The reason being, once again, because we're talking about that K9 balcony right there, you now have a way to contest them and another line of sight that they have to worry about, which can be super annoying for them. And even if the guy is in dark spot, you know, he has the mirror right there, so he can protect his mirror and kill the guy. So yeah, this is how I would play this site. Let me know if you reinforce these or what. Usually I reinforce this one, but you know, this is all an example. Next, let's go kitchen dining. Now this one's probably the most complex site setup, but it's also the most rewarding since you can control so much map control.
Bomb locations are secure.
Start off by making feet holes right here. Pop this hatch. Reinforce the main 2 dining walls here. And just like the other site, you're going to be basically extending above once again. And reinforce beside the feet holes. Go ahead and make a rotate right here. Now, depending on what your teammates are doing, how they're extending, you can either reinforce the hatch or pop it. It is honestly up to you. Now, I like to make 2 rotates, but some people don't. So, once again, really up to you what you want to do here. But if you do make this second rotate into red hole, first reinforce this and then play a shield right here. So if somebody's in that 45 hallway, they can't just bang you up. Make head holes right here on this west main. And then reinforce beside it. The reason why you're reinforcing beside it is because usually you have somebody playing on this solar plat for trophy, so nobody just jumps in. And they can't get banged from the west main window. Go ahead and make some vertical again for west main for the people that's playing above. And they can basically watch this staircase. Make sure you're placing utility on the staircase, though. Make a head hole right here, just so if they jump in, there's another angle they have to worry about. Let's head upstairs. Shoot the glass off. Make vertical on the jump in on the window. Go ahead and crack open this big window. We already talked about the hatch. Go ahead and make a rotate. Head over to upstairs in office and reinforce the 2 double wall once again. Now you can do the same reinforcements as if you were holding up here on the upstairs site. And you also can make all sorts of vertical play for the default plant and also for the K9 walk-in. So whoever's playing in sight, if they haven't got the wall yet, they can help you playing below. And you can also make vertical on the wall, on the door. And yeah, you would want to bring some type of shields. This is a lot of site setup, so you need multiple people with shotguns, as you can tell. Since we do have 2 reinforcements left, I'm going to place one on this wall as if we were playing upstairs once again. And if you wanted to, you can make feet holes. And then the last reinforcement could be on this hatch if you want, if that is your guys' plan. And yeah, so you're basically extending above here, guys, and you're making sure they don't get this map control early on. If they don't get this map control, you can play vertical, and their life is going to be living hell trying to take sight. And that's why if the hatch was popped, they literally cannot plant anywhere because you guys have so much map control upstairs. So it will force them to literally clear you guys. So it'd be good to bring some type of operators with C4s. So you guys are below, you guys can C4, or you guys are playing above and they push you off finally, you can drop, then play the C4s. Last up, we're going snowmobile garage. Okay, starting out, make feet holes on this long angle and reinforce right beside it. Now, the reason why you're not reinforcing this, guys, or, you know, if you guys aren't set up for it and you guys have randoms, reinforce it. But if you're in a 5-stack and you're watching this video, this is very beneficial because if they push up, there's another angle that they have to worry about, guys, and they're at a losing disadvantage right there because they would have to basically swing wide, pre-fire, and then prone, and then somebody can just swing from the middle of the site. So let's go ahead and reinforce off the trench walls right here. And once again, this is more personal preference, guys. Getting this hatch, you can pop it or not, or reinforce it. I don't even care about that, I'm not gonna lie. So I don't even worry about it. Make head holes right here. Do not reinforce this unless you have a mirror. The reason being, once again, is you can retake sight, and it's another angle that the attackers have to worry about. And it just makes it a lot easier to just retake in general. You can go ahead and also make a rotate right here. If you make a rotate right here, which I sometimes do, they can get an angle on blue stairs. Go ahead and reinforce off the main garage walls. And the last reinforcement you need to worry about is getting the main hatch. If you don't get this main hatch, you're going to be trolling yourself and you're going to probably lose the round just because it's a very important part to rotate. If you wanted to, reinforce off this single so they can't rush it and drop down the staircase. And yeah, so a lot of the times with a zombie is great down here because you're going to zombie everything off and then play around sight. Bandit is also going to be strong on main wall for bandit tricking. And from there, you can get really creative with this site because there's so much flexibility, not needing to reinforce literally all 10 walls. So you can just change stuff up and just play very different almost every single time. And you would have a lot of fun. Okay, now we're heading over to Bank. Let's start upstairs in Executive Lounge / CEO. Starting out, make sure that you guys are making head holes right here on this double wall and then reinforce right beside it. The reason being, once again, is you're contesting them from map control, and it's another angle that once again they have to worry about. Make a rotate right here into janitor. Make a rotate into long desk from janitor as well, just so you have a lot of freedom to just rotate around. If you're going to reinforce any of these janitor walls, just reinforce this one. Do not reinforce all of them. Reason being is because if they go in for a default plant, they only have one angle to worry about. You can make holes right here so you can C4 over if they go for a plant. Let's head over to stock. Make feet holes right here and reinforce off this double wall. Once again, reason being is you're now extending over here. And they literally will have to, like, fight you from the windows in top square. And you can actually contest them from going stock windows, shoot them. There's a lot of counter angles involved there. Next up, reinforce off this double elevator 3 wall, or E3. Let's go ahead and make a head hole right beside where I'm reinforcing after I reinforce. And then the last reinforcement that I'm going to be worried about after I'm making the head hole is right here. This allows me to have another angle, have some protection. Oh, and reinforce off these double walls top square. My fault. I am trolling. God, Ubisoft really needs to add some type of quick reinforcement. Because this is super, super annoying, guys. Like, super annoying. Like, what am I playing, bro? Anyways. So, yeah, this is basically a basic site setup for this. You can hold a lot of long angles. It gives you the freedom to rotate between sites. Maybe even, you know, extend out basically a lot. The only flaw with this is none of these walls are reinforced. So you guys really need to play into this. But if you can give up a reinforcement from, let's say, janitor, that's right here. Move that over right here so you can actually play, let's say, head holes. And if they drop, you can contest them. But yeah, you're basically going to play off of all these reinforcements all around site. Let's go to staff / open area next. Okay, now let's go ahead and start with these printer walls. Just make feet holes all across it. Basically, doesn't allow them to jump in and just run through sight. Let's reinforce this single wall right here as well. Make it rotate in the far right wall. And then reinforce all 4 of these quad walls here. Now, what's interesting about these 3 walls right here, guys, is a lot of the times I've seen players actually make feet holes here. And this is interesting because it kind of cuts off your rotation. So you might see this. So just keep that in mind. Some people might try to do this. But if you do play around it, you can, once again, have angles for if they try to push into sight. But for now, a lot of you guys are probably watching this video. You're probably a little bit newer to Siege. So just go ahead and reinforce this for now. And you can actually make holes above this, which you can actually see 4 over, as you can tell. Now from here, reinforce off these 2 walls. Actually, let's do all 3 of them for now. If you want to get advanced and you're in a team atmosphere, if you see this site setup, guys, this is also very normal. What you're doing right now, if you make this rotate, is you're extending once again and then contesting bottom square by playing archives, by playing inside the teller's office area, and you're actually making feet holes for the elevator too. So if they come down marble, you're controlling and having that phantom pressure. Once again, I'm just trying to like explain this so you guys understand when you do see that type of site setup. I'm going to reinforce that off for now, and the last 2 reinforcements are actually going to be for the hatches. Now, once again, if you guys do want to use that archives extension, you should maybe try to use 1 reinforcement if you can on the tellers area, because there's a lot of angles that they can get long angles from lobby, and it will be a pain in the butt. And I'll actually try to show you what I would reinforce and why. So let's just head over. Let's say if you extend downstairs. So I'm jumping over. I'm just going to make this a rotate. Don't do this, guys. But basically, if you make this a rotate, guys, you're actually going to want to reinforce this wall right here. The reason why is because if they get a angle from lobby, they will actually be able to bang anybody rotating. So if we go way out here, let's say this is open, then they basically have a very weird angle that they can, shoot you from. But if you reinforce it, they're going to have to expose more of their body. Next up, we're going to go teller's office. Okay, now for this site, I wouldn't suggest playing it in rank, to be honest. But let's just do it anyways, okay? I actually haven't set up this site in a very long time, guys. Reinforce that single wall, make a rotate at the far quad right here. I would also suggest extending into open area, so we're going to make a rotate right there. And it would actually be good to have a head hole there, just so you can contest them. Make some feet holes here. And honestly, if you want, make a rotate on the far left, just so you guys can have some type of rotate capability. Because the problem with this site is you actually have to control so much of the map, and there's so much vertical play that makes it hell to even play and even retake. But let's go ahead and reinforce off these elevator 2 walls. So each elevator has a floor. The first floor is elevator 1, elevator 2, or I mean, the basement is elevator 1, elevator 2 is on the first floor, and elevator 3 is on the second floor. So going into open area now, we're going to reinforce off the single wall again, guys, just like we did before. If you want, make some feet holes for the jump in. Doesn't need to be anything too insane. I would also maybe make a rotate. Maybe on the right side. I'm actually kind of trolling with this this rotate. So, but I was thinking if you can make some head holes, maybe across this wall. You can also contest them if they try to jump in the windows. Reinforce off the 2 quad walls here. And then once again, you can kind of hold up my shotguns. You can hold like a longer angle far back if they don't clear you. And then go ahead and reinforce the middle wall here. Honestly, I'm just trying something now. I want to see. So if you make feet holes here, you can actually hold them from jumping in the window and getting a safe plant. So if you want to try this, go ahead. This part isn't really default. I'm kind of just seeing what I can do. Make head holes here so you can see 4 the default plants, which would be behind this printer. And yeah, honestly, guys, this is more just a site to have fun with and try stuff. But I wouldn't suggest going this in ranked with some randoms because it takes too much team effort. Last but not least, we're going to go lockers, which is downstairs. So downstairs, I'm going to go ahead and make head holes here, reinforce right beside it. The head holes here, you can basically contest them from walking down the staircase, and, it's a weird gunfight. Make a rotate there. Make a rotate here. Reinforce from this side inside the red hall, so you can actually place a mirror on this wall. Now, it's very dependent on how your teammates are setting up. So sometimes you'll see head holes and people extending in garage. But for now, let's just reinforce this single wall, okay? Let's reinforce off these 2 site walls right here. Once again, you could also see these walls have shotgun holes all over them. and it just basically makes the enemies waste like a soft reach or something. So you'll see it like that, except it's not reinforced, and it just creates like a weird angle onto them. Heading over to bottom square, I mean, we're gonna reinforce off this square hatch. You basically always want to reinforce that because if they take control of it, you can't hold server. Let's go ahead and use the last 4 reinforcements literally on hatches. So most of your reinforcements are going to every single hatch, which is which is hilarious how many hatches are on this map. But you know, it is quite a pain, not gonna lie. We're gonna go over to E2 and bada bing, bada boom. Zooey mama. And the very last hatch being inside lobby. Now, when you guys are playing this map, guys, you need to extend around the map. So, for example, having somebody roaming like blue side, maybe having somebody playing open area at the start of the round just to shoot some cams, shooting cams, backing up, and then going back into sight. Make sure you have a body inside garage, which is under open area, of course. Having somebody playing blue stairs or server is very effective. Or just having somebody just roaming upstairs in general. Like, I don't want to see 5 people packed in sardines, like sardines at the start of a round in a high elo game. Or just, I just think it's a bad habit if everybody's in sight, guys. Okay, now we're hanging out in Kanal. This is a very hated map. Honestly, I really enjoy playing Kanal. It's pretty fun, I'm not gonna lie. But that's just me. Let's start off with server room. Make feet holes for pill area right there. Let's make our rotates right here. Let's make a head hole right here. And make feet hole in this single wall. Just so if they come up Skybridge, you can watch it. If they come in pill, you can watch it. It gives you multiple lines of sight. Reinforce off the main box walls, and then you're going to reinforce beside the feet holes that you just made. Being right here. From here, you guys are going to also want to reinforce these 4 90 walls. Bro, I really wish Ubisoft would add in like an auto knife reinforcement in custom games. Oh my god, man, I am gonna choke myself doing this. Like, look at this. Okay, now the reason why you have a head hole here is so you guys can contest red, contest the walk-in, rotate, you can contest. Once again, don't make it on this side because you can basically get shot from Skybridge. With the feet holes here, you can watch Skybridge from all sorts. And the last 3 reinforcements, you can reinforce off this single green wall right here. And if you wanted to, you can also extend right here and have a rotation station. But you're going to have to worry about that single window. But basically, make sure you guys are playing top green. Make sure you're playing somebody on top red. If you should have somebody probably bandit tricking the main wall, so the person that's, you know, helping you can hold and you can, you know, shotgun them. And then have somebody just maybe manning cams. Let's say Skybridge, have the BP bulletproof cam right there. You can watch it. You can swing if somebody goes up on the boxes. And then the last teammate, he can literally just go play anywhere. If you want to go roam, try to get a C4, that's fantastic. Sometimes, especially when you ban Thatcher, you'll have people trying to go below. So having somebody contest that is great. Let's go map security next. Starting out, let's go ahead and reinforce off this wall right here. Let's go ahead and make a head hole here so you can swing, contest, is the name of the game, baby. Reinforce off the single wall right here. Make feet holes there. This is kind of a chaotic site because the amount of feet holes that you can make. Personally, you can make a rotate here and try to play this tucked corner. The reason why we're doing this much extending and all that is because the enemies are actually going to get upstairs control. So you guys need to be able to extend and play upstairs. So you're not really reinforcing that much on site upstairs. we're going to go ahead and we're going to reinforce off the hatch. And then the box walls, these two, kind of like we were playing upstairs, right here as well. And then, of course, the holes there. Make a rotate here. And then let's reinforce the last two hatches, just so they have to burn some type of hard breach device to get control of site easily. And basically, guys, from here, you would basically want to have somebody playing top green, somebody top red, and then the last three people, or last two people, you would have somebody just playing, making sure nobody's going Sky Bridge or Old Bridge, and then one person maybe Museum, just to make sure that they're not pushing in. And you can even, if you want, reinforce off this far wall, just so you do have protection if you want to play here. It's close, guys. And then, you know, not have to worry about your feet getting shot off. But this is also great because, hold up, there's like debris in the way. My biggest op is this debris right now. You can watch if they walk down green, and you can watch if they come up the outside staircase. Let's head over to Coast Guard meeting room. Starting out, make a rotate. Make a head hole. Make another head hole. Up the hatch. Get a nice little reinforcement beside it. Make another head hole. Reinforce beside the weight or gym. Rotate. Make some feet holes. Reinforce beside it for radio. Once again, reinforce this next wall as well. Now, we're going to talk about the single wall here in a second, whether you should reinforce it or not. But give me a second. We're going to make feet holes and then reinforce beside the feet holes once again. This just allows you to actually play this corner without getting wall banged and then having some type of protection, but at the same time, being able to have that, you know, gunfight. I'm going to reinforce off this single right here, and you can make head holes here if you want to. So you can actually, you know, contest them if they swing, but you don't get wall bang from the upstairs. Now, this is experimental, in my opinion. You can reinforce it and then have more cover in the hallway, or you can leave it soft and make head holes and then contest the walk-in, the beepers, the white stairs, the bottom white stairs. And basically, you guys want to bring a lot of utility to actually play around this. So you can, you know, of course, also play on this staircase and, you know, contest the hallway, contest the door. But you guys have got to make sure that they don't jump in printer, don't take up the sky bridge, don't walk up the yellow staircase. So it's going to take a lot of communication between you and your teammates. And it's honestly just a complicated site overall. But yeah, just experiment it, honestly, guys. Last but not least, we're going to go supply room / kayaks. Starting out, make the rotates right here. Make head holes for the main stairs. Make head holes for scuba. Reinforce beside the head holes that you just made. And then reinforce beside the head holes that you just made as well. From here, you're going to want to actually reinforce off these two double walls right here. And then, like, you can reinforce this if you want to. The single wall right here, I've seen people make feet holes here, which is fantastic. I wouldn't reinforce this because, once again, it gives people the ability to walk in without having any pressure. And it's kind of just a pain in the ass to deal with, I'm not going to lie. And the last two reinforcements that we're going to be using for this site is actually going to be for the upstairs hatches. And then you kind of have the freedom to use the last few for whatever you want. But this is pretty default, what I'm doing right now. Something I like to do, I'll show you, is actually roaming up here. And I like to make vertical right here. Archives. So usually what I do is I make holes right here for the walk-in on trench. I play behind this little shelf as cap can. And I place some cap cans around these barricades, around beepers. You know, just this general area, so if they walk in, I can act off of it. And even though Capcan lost to C4, it's still super strong, because then I can just bring barbed wire for the walk-in or for any other area. And if you wanted to, you can even make a rotate here if you're playing up here, and then rotate out if you need to. You can get really creative with this, and it's super fun. I love playing up here as Capcan. Starting out, bar cocktail lounge. Starting out, make a rotate on this cocktail wall. Reinforce on the inner side. If you guys have a mirror, they're going to place a mirror right there. Make head holes here. Just watch if you make the head holes too far down. They can actually get an angle. But this is basically just so you can see 4 over. And if they go for a default. Make a rotate right here. Reinforce off this freezer wall right here on the inside once again. Just so you can place a mirror right there. Now, depending on your guys' strat and how you're playing, that will depend if you make this head holes or if you reinforce it. That's all on your mirror, to be honest. If mirror's up, I would make this head holes, guys, because then you can just play the long angle and basically control piano stage. Make a rotate there. Make head holes on this side, guys, on the right side. Because when you reinforce right here and you make head holes here, you basically have protection from the long angle. But if they flip it and you reinforce this and you make head holes here, they have a long angle from, you know, the ticket. So I see a lot of console players doing the no. So reinforce that, make head holes, and then you can play it and, you know, shoot people. And if you need to fall back, you can fall back. And this also gives you an opportunity to play head holes here if you guys need to. Reinforce off the wall beside it. And 2 more reinforcements are going to go into the ticket wall because you want them to have to waste their utility and hard breaches specifically. Shoot the speakers out, and this is all personal preference from here, guys. So some people like to do feet holes just so you can, you know, I guess contest, you know, the balcony, but then they have that angle on you as well. Honestly, I like to just make 1 hole, and I like to see if they're like trying to Amaro rush in, and that just gives me another angle. But on the flip side, if I have a mirror as well, I can play the mirror and shoot at the window there. Another cool angle, guys, that you can use if you guys really wanted to is... Hold up. It's been a while since I've done this. Give me a second. Am I having a stroke? I literally am having a stroke. They fixed this? Oh, hold up. I think they might have. Or I'm just smoking. I might just be smoking. I might just be smoking. Okay, usually I would just make a hole there. And I swear there used to be a pixel. Like right here, but I guess not. Make sure that you guys are actually opening up this bar completely because they like to crouch walk in and just use it as cover. So it's nice if you can, you know, scare them. Also open up this bar right here just so they, once again, can't walk in, can't have cover, and all that good stuff. Next up, we're going to go Fireplace Hall / mining. This is a very odd site, by the way, to go. Now, this site is very, 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 very ass. I'm going to be honest. Like, I don't see anybody ever going this site anymore, so... just go ahead and reinforce off these 2 mining walls. And then make feet holes from here. You're also going to want to reinforce off this single right here. And make head holes right here. Now, you can also, like, make feet holes here. And you got to watch out for this big window. I like to reinforce this, so just so nobody can, you know, plant right here and then they can play post plant there. Make feet holes in this reading wall all across the bottom. And then you're basically going to have to be extending all the way out deep in the reading here. So I see people reinforcing, let's say, this side. And then making a rotate right here. A vaultable, of course. Just so you can, you know, rotate pretty quickly. Make a laundry rotate as well, just so you can have more extended pressure, and then I like to reinforce this white double walls just so, you know, if they do get inside, they're basically boxed in like a fish. What's great about this, though, is basically all of these floors are, you know, bangable from below. So what you can do is you can actually play below, and you guys can play C4s for both these sites. Unless, you know, they plant, like basically in the corner here, but I still think the explosion would kill them. So you can just basically play below, and it can be very strong. Or what you can even do, guys, is you can play above. Now, that's really up to you. Let your creative juices flow. But this is just pretty basic all around, I'm not going to lie. Once again, pro players might do some different strats, but I think this is relatively default, in my personal opinion. But yeah, you can reinforce this wall, by the way. Put some protection down. Next up, we got Reading Room. This is probably the best site on this map, to be honest. And I'll explain why. Starting out, make a rotate into Laundry. And then make a rotate on the far left side and reinforce the right side. From here, you're going to want to make feet holes all along like I just previously did, as you can tell. This basically just gives you the opportunity to, you know, retake map control, contest them if they do get inside sight. Reinforce both these single walls just so they can't just they can't just get long angles, basically. And from here, what you are actually going to be doing is reinforcing these pillar walls as well. And the whole premise of this site, guys, is actually extending vertically so that they can't just walk in sight and easily get it. And they can't just walk upstairs and, you know, easily just play vertical. So first, make sure that you guys are actually reinforcing beside the laundry rotate as well. Now let's head upstairs and let me show you exactly what I mean. Starting off, reinforce off these two wood walls. Now, the reason why I'm saying wood is because there's actually wood pallets beside me on my left side. So we're just going to go ahead and reinforce off this. And pop the hatch, break the glass, reinforce off this single wall. Castle is a very strong operator here, guys. You would castle off this double, and you would basically just castle site door from pillar, being this door right here that I'm looking at. And you're going to want to make head holes right here. And your basically main objective is just to hold this area as long as possible. You guys have tons and tons and tons of vertical play that you guys have to make as well. What's great is you can actually make vertical for a site into skylight from right here. So if you're playing in sight, you can actually hold that angle and make it harder for the enemies to actually push up. And even some 90 holes that you guys can make, you can get very depthful here as well. So if they try to push into this area, you can also hold it from sight. If they try to push into trash, if they try to open up this wood wall, like I was saying, you can also play this in sight. So it's very important that you guys are playing these holes. It's very, very, very strong. So yeah, you can even hold an angle in sight, guys. If they walk up to the castle and they start punching it, you can make them basically feel super, super, super frightened. But you guys, once again, have to make sure you have a man in sight, or you're just making these holes for no reason, just for your teammates to die, and then they have vertical plate on them, you know? So, yeah. These are the holes from this perspective. Especially the skylight one, guys. It's super, 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 super good. Last but not least, we're going kitchen service. Starting off, make feet holes in the wall here. Reinforce off this single bakery wall. And I'm actually going to show you guys a trick for Mew, which makes this operator super, super fire, is you guys can actually place a Mew jammer right here, and they're not going to be able to shoot it from the bakery door. And if they try to Habana or ace it, there's literally no physical way because it covers all this area. Now, something controversial is actually these reading head holes, or not reading, I mean, sorry, this coat check head holes. Because if you make it, you can actually have lines of sight and contest the enemies. But the problem is, a lot of people that play basement downstairs, they'll all just play sight, guys. So you guys, if you guys are making this head hole, which is very default, make sure you're extending coat and actually, you know, trying to play that map control. Make head holes here so you can see 4. Make feet holes here so if they walk in, they get contested. But yeah, basically this angle is really strong for prep. Make sure you guys are going upstairs and getting the hatch. First, we're going to reinforce off this back freezer wall. Oh, man. This is reinforced simulator. God dang. And what's cool is you can actually reinforce... I'm trying to figure out which one of these walls is it. Is it... right here, I believe, is so you can have some type of, you know, cover so you just don't get wall banged. You can reinforce off this single whiskey wall as well so you guys don't get banged from the back, getting back shots. And what's cool about back here is you can actually extend, guys, into Christmas. If you wanted to, you can hold down this area and make sure they don't get the white wall. You can use 2 reinforcements if you're going to do so right here. But let's go upstairs and let's get the hatch, because the hatch is important as well. You just want to limit the map control that they get. And yeah, starting out with army lockers. Okay, make head holes on this single wall right here. Do not reinforce this unless you have a mirror and you place a mirror crouched and you pop the mirror, or you just use it to C4 over. That's the only exception for that wall to be reinforced. Let's go ahead and reinforce off this office archives to office single. Reinforce off this right wall right here. And then make feet holes to fountain right here, guys. The reason why is now you can contest them if they take this control. But if you guys are not comfortable with that, you can reinforce it and then force them to, you know, just walk up. Once again, you see the difference in if you reinforce it versus you now. Because now if they walk up, they can get this control and they can, you know, have cover. Go ahead and make feet holes on this triple wall right here, guys. Just so if they walk up from the balcony, they get contested. Make sure you guys are reinforcing off these 2 triple walls, though. It is super important. If you guys are playing an office heavy, reinforce the single wall and play it. Make a rotate into 90 from fountain. And then basically make another rotate into CCTV. Make sure you're not popping that hatch, because it's going to be a pain in the ass if they're playing below. And then reinforce the 90 wall right here. And then you're going to want to make feet holes for this balcony, guys. And basically, it makes it a pain in the ass for them to open up this main wall, which I'm going to go ahead and just rotate outside to reinforce. Make feet holes for the small office so they can get swung if they, you know, try to plant right there, or you can just see it for them and, you know, explode it. Reinforce off the small office wall right here, guys. And then reinforce off the main wall right here. Now, just a rule of thumb, guys, if you guys have somebody playing CC, playing the feet holes and all that good stuff, playing head holes here is not bad, because you can actually hold a long angle from half wall right here, and you can contest them from walking up and just, you know, make their lives a little bit difficult. I also see people making a shotgun hole here so they can contest, and they just don't have free walk from here. And also just like sometimes I see feet holes there as well, but this isn't default. This is dependent on the strat. Next, we're gonna go ventilation workshop. Make a rotate on this quad wall right here, guys. Make all this vertical play that I'm playing. Make that head hole there. Make the walk-in angle. Make this window angle. I just shot the bricks like an idiot. My voice just cracked. And then make head holes here. I like to reinforce this off right here, guys, just so I can't get wall banged. But this is a little bit more personal preference, to be honest. And then I like to make head holes right there so, you know, I don't get C4'd. Pop this hatch right here and reinforce off all 4 of these walls back here, guys. I would also suggest going into detention, guys, and reinforcing off detention because it's an early, easy entrance for enemies. So you really don't want that. So just go ahead and reinforce off these walls. And I forgot to show you guys, but you're going to make some more vertical holes for sight. I know, it's so fun. So great. So for sandwich window, where they usually rappel in to try to contest your teammates, is right here. For AC window, it's right here. For the walk-in on the balcony is right here. And for fountain, it is right here. Wait, I think I messed it up. My fault. I'm trolling. I am trolling. Yeah, I'm trolling. I'm sorry. Tee-hee. Tee-hee. Bro, what am I looking? I'm going upstairs. I'm having a stroke. For the fountain wall, it's right here. I literally, I was showing, but I was having a stroke explaining it. Make sure that you guys are reinforcing off this hatch up here. Reinforce off this single wall right here. And if you guys are heavily extending, you're going to actually want to reinforce off this single and then another single, which you are dedicating quite a bit of reinforcements up here, not gonna lie, guys. So if you want to reinforce that, maybe make a head hole just to contest them, or reinforce it off completely, and then you guys can play vert. But if you guys are going to do all of this and use all those reinforcements, don't reinforce any of these triple walls. Make sure that you guys are only reinforcing off these two bathroom walls, one being in the hallway right here, and then one being right beside it into showers. Now, what makes this so difficult now is you guys actually should be picking a rotate that's vaultable, and you guys would basically have to force the enemies. You would make feet holes here. You would have to force them to jump in and just play this area so you can actually, you know, retake map control if you need to. Okay, next up we got Teller's bathroom, which is one of the most common sites that you're going to see. That's the most competitive. Okay, let's reinforce off these two single walls here, and then make a default rotate right here, being vaultable, of course, just so you can not just get pushed out in the site. Reinforce off, after making these head holes, these two bathroom walls, and make a vaultable rotate right here, just so if they get this site control, you know, they, you know, can't just, you know, take site. And then we're gonna go ahead and reinforce off the quad wall here, because if they get this long angle control, it's gonna be literally game over for anybody trying to rotate from site. You basically want to force them to use utility overall. Now from here, you guys are actually going to want to use one of these reinforcements upstairs on the hatches, being this one, archives right here, and then this single right here. Now this is basically anticipation if they, you know, for them taking the hatch. Now if this happens, you actually want to make sure you're banning some type of EMPs like Thatcher, and you just Kate off the hatch, because this will be very chalked if you don't, because you're basically bunkering down. I would also suggest making head holes for these walls, just so you can actually play off the angle, or at least make this one right here, so if they jump in or walk in off a breach, you can contest them. Castle is pretty strong here as well, guys, but if you're going to run castle and you're going to, you know, commit, make sure your teammates know that you're playing castle here, guys, because I've seen so many people troll just using castle. And then last but not least is the most experimental, being customs. Okay, this site is weird, guys, because it's not really played that much unless like you're a competitive player, but basically reinforce off these passport walls. They're going to probably go for these passport walls, guys, and go for a plant here. So you're going to want to bring a bandit or Cade and bandit off these walls. Reinforce off these detention double walls right here. Castle's very strong on this site, by the way, as well, and I'll show you exactly where to castle if this is what you guys are going to be doing. But basically, you're going to want to make a rotate right here so you can get back into sight. Make head holes here so you can actually play off that detention. You can castle off this window when you bring a castle, so you have some freedom to, you know, roam around without getting killed. Make a rotate on bottom metal, and then castle off this double window right here. And then from here, you're basically going to want to just make some feet holes, just so, you know, if they jump in, you can contest them a little bit. You can reinforce off this if you want. Reinforce off this closet single wall right here. And then you are going to want to put utility around metal. For example, a beeper towards 90 maybe. Just, you know, to contest them. Or what you guys can do is you can use some castles up here. Place a castle here. Maybe place a castle here. Reinforce off the hatch. And you can play literally vertical everywhere. Place a castle on that single. And then, yeah, you guys can basically just play some vert for the windows. And for all of A site. So if they get upstairs, they would have to actually use that utility. Actually, instead of castling off the single, just castle off this double door. And then castle off the window. And then make, like, just reinforce off this wall right here. And then bring a beeper and put a beeper outside. So you can put it on right here if you want. Or just anywhere. Just so you can get audio. Since you're not going to have enough castles to do everything, right? But yeah, you would basically just make vertical for literally everything that you need to. As well as in front of the window. And if you make it by the trash bin, you can see if they try to go for a tucked plant. And you can even get vertical on detention, which is really great. Because that's a very common area. Making the wrong holes. But yeah, right here, this is detention. That's the window. This is like tucked, where they would be tucking. Okay, so we're starting upstairs tea room. Make a rotate right here. Put a shield on the rotate right here. And then reinforce beside the shield. Reason being is you are actually going to want to contest up here and play this area. Make a vaultable rotate for Geisha. The reason why I'm saying vaultable and not just runnable is because if they get Geisha control, you at least have audio for if they jump in. Now, reinforce beside the rotatable rotate hole. Make feet holes for drum. Reinforce off the single in Geisha. Make feet holes or holes for wave stairs. To make feet holes here as well. And then I just like to make head holes all across this area, and then also head holes right here. Now this is more situational than anything, guys, and I'll explain why you're making head holes here in a second. If you make head holes here, you can contest drum when they take drum, or even if they jump in the window, and also just the shrine area over here. But this isn't really rank default, so just reinforce off that single the head hole if, you know, if your teammates aren't feeling it. Now, you guys are going to want to extend over an office area, so reinforce off this single wall. Then head over and reinforce off this balcony wall as well. And then head over into office itself and reinforce off the double office walls. Once again, the reason being so they actually have to commit utility over here and waste it to clear you out. And basically from here, guys, you would actually just want to play this area and just contest them as much as possible. Shoot drones, push back once they start opening walls. And then I like to place a shield right here. And then I can just hold that area once again. And that complements the head holes here because the person doesn't need to worry about that. And yeah, the last few reinforcements, guys, you can use them how you please. For example, if you want to use them Geisha, I like to place one right here. Make head holes beside it, and then also reinforce off this single Geisha wall just so they can't wallbang me once they open that breach. Next up, we got exhibition room / office. Starting out, reinforce off the main two walls. go ahead and just make a reinforcement beside it as well. And then from here, you're going to want to make fuels as well. Make a rotate in the far samurai wall. Reason why you're making it right here and not the other way is because you actually have protection with this mini bar right here. Oh my god, I can't make a I can't make a rotate. I'm having a stroke. Guys, help. Like, what is this? What is this wire, bro? Okay, whatever. I'll just punch it. If that ever happens to you. Then reinforce the single wall. And then make high head holes here just so you can actually, you know, wall bang and C4 if you need to, or throw smoke canisters. Put a reinforcement on the single wall here. And then from here, you're also going to want to make head holes right here. And then a rotate right beside it, basically into dragon. Holy hell, guys. Now from here, I like to make head holes here just so I can, you know, play it, hold the staircase here, and contest the balcony. Reinforce off the single balcony wall as well. And then you're going to want to bring some type of utility that will stop anybody from breaching it, because it's a breachable wall, of course. I also like putting a reinforcement beside the rotate as well. I also see people making head holes here, but it's really dependent on what you guys want to do. I just think that dragon area, guys, in general, is a very strong focal point of this site. So giving up this control way too early is like shooting yourself in the foot, guys. Now, the last two reinforcement, you can use it if you rotate from the rotate hole late round and actually just reinforce off dragon. And then make sure you guys are actually coming over here and drum and reinforcing off this single, because once again, this gives up so much map control if they just open this early on, right? I would suggest also just barricading these doors at the start of the round to not have to deal with the enemies coming quick. And yeah, next up, we're going barbecue kitchen. Yeah. Starting out, let's go up to this wall, reinforce it, the kegs wall. Beside it, make some head holes, guys, and then pop the hatch. You'll see why in a minute. Let's go ahead and make a rotate over here on the far wall. We're going to go ahead and reinforce off both these double walls right here, guys. And I'm so sick of love songs. So sad and slow. Make sure you guys are reinforcing off this toilets wall so they can't get a long angle on you guys as well. Now, depending on how you guys like to play, I sometimes like to make a rotate. But once again, depending on how you guys play, you can just make head holes here. So once again, you can contest the enemies if they jump in and all that good stuff. Go ahead and put a reinforcement right here. And once again, depending on how you guys play, you can also just hold this area from the head holes. Now, let me show you the sauce, or what you guys should be doing upstairs. First, I'm just gonna put some feet holes here. Just so... that voice crack was bad, guys. Oh my god. Just so if you guys are actually playing in here, you guys can hold the feet if they walk deep kegs. Yo, I don't know how many people are seeing this video, but that is hilarious, by the way. Reinforce the single wall, by the way. I doubt that many people are going to be wondering about SkyScraper, but if they are, basically make vertical up here with the wave stairs. Make a rotation right here for karaoke, guys. You're actually going to be committing reinforcements on Geisha single right here, and then beside it being the drum single. And basically this just allows you to have protection and play vertical from above. Castle's really strong here as well, guys. We're just going to go ahead and make some vertical for the window, for the default plant, and for A site being a restaurant, as you can tell. Trying not to use all my shotgun ammo because I don't have a lot. But yeah, basically you have all these angles for all the tucked areas. For the bar here. And then, of course, A-bomb. Jesus, man. and even the outer bar area if you want to, you know, check it. But yeah, sorry for the voice cracks. I've been talking for the last hour and a half. So, haha. Okay, last but not least, we're going to go bathroom, bedroom. Okay, starting out, reinforce off this single wall right here, just so you don't get banged from the window. Reinforce these back kegs side wall, or bathroom walls, I should say. Now, once again, depending on how you guys like to play, I like to play head holes, but you want to reinforce some stuff, go ahead. Let's go ahead and just reinforce this front door wall, because this will probably be how people take the map, is by this front wall. And what's cool about this site is you actually are going to be extending above, so you're going to want to reinforce off this single. Once again, this other single. Once again. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, boop. Boop, 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 boop. I'm just going to pop the hatch so I can rotate, and then these office double right here. And now, what you're going to want to do, reason why you're doing all this, is so you actually get vertical play on literally everything. And this is when it becomes tedious, is because you have to make so many holes. But once again, it is great for just map control in general, right? Because you can hold basically everything from the front door to, you know, even the closet. If you were able to, you know, contest this area, this is the wall that they would be getting right here. So you're just gonna want to make vertical and just hold down the fort by, you know, playing these areas. Now the only true gap that you have is there are some corners that are hard to play in B. So you're usually gonna want to have one of your people playing on site, maybe with a shield in the tub or something like that. And yeah, but basically you're able to contest the window, the door, you know, all of this. You're committing a lot of people upstairs for this to actually work well, and maybe even somebody playing around this reception area. Okay, upstairs, hookah, starting out on Coastline. Starting out, make a crouchable rotate for cool vibes. Reinforce beside it. Reinforce beside the door. Make head holes beside, and then reinforce beside the head holes. Reinforce all 4 of these quad walls. Go ahead and reinforce this single wall right here, guys. And then make head holes right here, just so you can see 4 over. And then a crouchable rotate right here. Now, I see people reinforcing the inner or these 2 walls. Don't do that. Go into VIP Lounge and reinforce these 2 walls. The reason being is you're actually going to want to extend over this area and actually just you know, extend and not let them take this map control. This forces them to not be able to just have like inside the map control, just based off of, you know, them sledging, ashing, breaching, charging, whatever. And they're not using utility like Ace, Hibana, or whatever. And most of the time, people that are playing Ace or Hibana and Thermite, or I should say Ace or Hibana, they're on the roof getting these quad walls. So this just forces them to actually have to go through the balcony, drop the hatch, go to the big window, and this will all give you audio, guys. Next up, we're going Theater Penthouse, which is my favorite site on this map. Starting out, make feet holes so if they drop this, you can actually kill them. Make head holes on both these single walls. Reinforce off the back theater walls. Make feet holes right here, and then reinforce this wall, because if you don't, they can wall bang you from luggage. Now, I like to make a rotate here, so sometimes I'll actually just reinforce off this left wall. And I will only reinforce off this left wall if I make a rotate here. Because if I don't have a rotate here, then I will just make this head holes. But the reason why I do this is because I actually make head holes here, reinforce off 90, make head holes here, reinforce the single, and then put a very tiny rotatable hole right here, which if somebody tries to go through it, my teammates can peek on the head holes there. And then we're going to reinforce off this double wall right here. Meow, meow, meow. And then if you wanted to, guys, you guys can have somebody playing in this corner, and you guys can reinforce off these double walls. But basically, you would want to hold 90. You would want to make sure nobody's pushing that area. Make sure they're not repelling in sight. This is a very heavy map control site. Like, you're going to have to take very engaging gunfights. So having a shield 90 would also be good. So you can, you know, play safe. Next up, we're going kitchen service. You know, make a rotate far of the bomb chassis here, so you have protection when you're rotating. Reinforce beside it. Make feet holes on this far wall and pebbles, just so, you know, you can shoot people's feet if they're pushing up with the hallway and vice versa. The reason why you're reinforcing off all three of these walls, guys, is because if you don't reinforce the wall I'm reinforcing right now, they can get a deep angle into sight, and that's a no-no. Make sure that you guys are making feet holes in a blue bar like this. The reason why you're doing this, guys, is you can have somebody play lobby, and they can contest the person walking into blue, and it just makes their life like hell, basically. Reinforce off the kegs walls here. Now, you know the blue bar holes I just made, guys? You can literally, if you do that, you can also make a rotatable hole right here in the kegs. And like I was saying, you can literally play an extension in the lobby. You can play this area, hold map control, and if they push into blue, you can shoot them, do anything that you need to. And yeah. And as you can tell, guys, we have 4 reinforcements left. So I almost reinforced the wrong wall. I'm an idiot. Make feet holes here so the person that's in lobby can shoot somebody if they try to walk in and plant. I like to make a rotate here, but this isn't needed, once again. And then I like to make feet holes right here so they can't play the window. And then reinforce right here so I can play bathroom and they can't wallbang me through that single door. Once again, this gives you more freedom to extend out and basically let your teammates breathe. Now, the only thing that you guys are going to have to worry about is if they get vertical control. Now, if you are in a competent 5-stack, you can actually use the last 3 reinforcements upstairs. So we can reinforce off this VIP wall. And once again, just like the round where I was explaining hookah, this would literally like allow you to just make them waste time, guys. So you can do this, and you can actually have your teammate playing underneath this vertical play. And if the guy walks in, he has to face stuff this or die, basically. Last but not least, we're going blue bar. Make feet holes along blue bar like we just did for the kitchen round. Make a rotate right here by the couches. Reinforce this single wall right here. Make feet holes so they can't jump in and feel, you know, nice and dandy. And you can also reinforce this wall as well. I would suggest having like a smoke right here with a shield, and then he can just smoke off, smoke off, smoke off. They will try to get this wall, so you need a bandit or a Cade, I would suggest. Make sure you guys are reinforcing the hatch. Reinforce this wall right here. Reinforce right here as well. Make head holes right here. And then right here. And then reinforce the wall that you just made head holes on. Another two reinforcements are these back walls, so they can't just enter sight really quickly and position themselves in a way that gives them the upper advantage. From here, a castle is a very good operator on this site once again. You're going to see a lot of these maps. I'm going to be talking about castle because he is super good. Make a rotate here, and if you are able to bring a castle this off. Head over to kitchen. Reinforce off this single. And then you guys can make head holes here. And just like before, you can make a hole here for the walk-in on the door. This will allow you to contest anybody that goes in bathroom and all that good stuff. Starting with initiation room / office. Reinforce off these two main walls. Head holes right here. Reinforce beside it. Make a rotate in between sites, just so you're not stuck in sight, basically. I like to pop this hatch because idiots will drop it. Now, see this wall right here? If you place a thermite on the outer, they can actually open the site wall. So you're going to want to go ahead and basically break this wall down. Make a rotate on the coffee machine on the far left. Make head holes on the far right. Reinforce the head holes. Beside the head holes, I mean. Reinforce the double wall here. And then reinforce off the single here. And then reinforce this single as well. Because if they take bunks area, they can basically just get this super long angle. And then from here, guys, you basically just want to make head holes. And feet holes. So if they walk in, you know, you have an angle to fight them. And also, you just have a lot of angles to retake and angles that they have to worry about, right? If they take cash or they take top dragon. So, yeah. Next up, we're going bunk / daycare. Okay, something I see is sometimes people will make rotates either on the right side or left side. Now, I would suggest making on the left side because they're going to open that main breach. And then you can actually contest them. With this, you have to come wide and basically just bang and die. Make a rotate on top arcade balcony. Reinforce off right here. Reinforce off this single wall because they will bang through it and you'll be getting back shots like there's no tomorrow. Make sure you guys are reinforcing the main wall as well. Pop the hatch. I like to make head holes here just so you can contest Cafe. And then sometimes even making a rotate can be good as well, depending on how you and your teammates are playing. Because most of the time, they're going to go for that front wall. Reinforce off this double wall right here for vault. And then reinforce these two walls as well. This basically just gives you the freedom to actually contest, even if they get map Cafe control. I just like this once again because I can now have a possibility of, you know, getting back into sight, having another angle that they have to worry about. But this isn't really that default, guys. So reinforce this or even make feet holes because they can just run in and just go for a plant and you will be screwed. So we're going Armory Throne. Starting out, reinforce. You're literally just reinforcing all of sight. I'm not going to lie, guys. But I'll show you how to play around it, though. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, meow. Now, something I would say you should be doing is making head holes above this just so you can C4 over because they're going to be getting the walls. Make feet holes right here just so if they walk in, you can contest them. And another reinforcement would actually be on the single wall right here. So they can't get a long angle and bang you out. And you can actually rotate out of there. But let's head upstairs and reinforce off the split hatch as well. The last two reinforcements you can extend above and use it for something else if you guys want. Or you can even reinforce the bottom dragon walls. But I'm not going to reinforce anything because it's really up to you. Basically, though, guys, you can literally just bunker downstairs. I'm going to keep it 100. You don't need to do anything extra and roam. You can literally, like, play, like, come out and gong, shoot some cams, try to get back to site, shoot some cams. But what's great about this is you can actually have so much room to play shields, to play traps, play a zombie, and play cams, and just play inside site. Because they can only get vertical right here. So you have a lot of freedom to do a lot with bunkering down. You can Cade Claw the hatch. And it's a very strong bunker down site. But once again, if you guys are going to roam, don't throw your life. Literally shoot cams, maybe get a pick, and then try to get back to site. Or what's cool about this site is you can actually play site and then rotate off and then get a flank. I found that that's most successful, to be honest. Next is lab storage. Now, I'm going to be honest, guys. This site is a troll. This site is a troll. So, make a rotate right here. Oh, man, this site is so freaking cursed. Make head holes here. You know what's funny? I've seen people reinforce this and then C4 over it, but I'm not with it. I'm gonna be honest. Reinforce these back walls right here. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Now, this might be insane. You might think I'm insane here. I'm gonna make a rotate here. I'm gonna just cook up a strat. And if I'm not cooking, I'm not cooking for you guys. I'm gonna make a head hole here so I can actually contest the enemies if they jump in. I'm gonna make a head hole here as well on this back throne wall. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a small rotate right here. And they shouldn't be able to get any of the site control based off of these dumbass rotates. Because I'm basically going to be extending out to play barrels. I can run castle. I can castle this. I can contest. I can even castle off dragon door. And they're basically going to be fighting for so much map control that it's going to be a pain in the ass for them to even take the map. But I'm going to go ahead and just reinforce these back walls. Basically, though, guys, don't play this site unless you're, like, literally just trying to have fun. Okay? Because not gonna lie, this is a cursed site. Like, it really is. Like, there's not much you can do to actually, like, enjoy yourself with it. So, but yeah, no, basically, like, I would just be trying to extend. If we're talking about, like, if I'm taking this serious, I would actually get my teammates to probably play yellow so he can also have a counter angle and also just control, help the person that's going to be playing Cafe. And this guy can basically play the staircase, watch anybody trying to flank, you know, also shoot anybody if they come out gong, you know, all that good stuff. And you could also make vertical here, guys. Watch bathroom jump in. Watch some of site because this map sucks, or this site sucks. And it's basically useless, and you don't really get to watch a lot of stuff. But yeah, don't go to the site. Starting with aviator/games, reinforce off this study wall completely. Make a head hole on the right side so you can contest enemies pushing study, and you can even retake study if the enemies are pushing aviator. Make head holes for bar right here. Put a rotate right here on the far right. Reinforce off vault. Make feet holes for 90 hallway and for books hallway. And then reinforce off the double wall right here into study. And of course, if you want to, you can reinforce off this wall right here. The reason being is you can now play the middle of the site without having to worry about your skull, and you can rotate in between sites and not get wallbang from the study head holes. Reinforce this 90 single wall beside the feet holes, and then make these holes in the floor so you can watch main stairs. And also behind the bomb chassis, so you can watch the walk-in from below. If you want an extra little tip, you can go ahead and make a vertical right here. And what this watches is basically the front door. You can do it literally right over it, and if they walk in, you can just shoot them. Now, when you're holding this site, guys, you basically want to hold all around site. By the way, if you wanted to flip this reinforcement beside it, you can also stop anybody from shooting the person rotating vault and trying to swing vault door. Once again, this is all personal preference about this reinforcement. Just don't put it right here unless you have a mirror. Heading over to statue/trophy. Starting out, reinforce the 2 triple walls on the far right and the middle. Then beside it, make head holes. I don't care what setup you guys are doing, do this every single time. The moment that they get master, guys, you need to be able to contest them, and there's multiple head holes. There's multiple angles that you can take just based off this head holes, like being split, close. You can watch the window, you can watch the fireplace window, and most importantly, you can watch the closet. Make feet holes on this little split single wall. Make a rotate right here. What's great about this angle is you can also put a vertical hole for the Astro staircase right there. Go ahead and reinforce the 2 deer walls. And depending on what you and your teammates are playing, and operator and positioning wise, you can either make feet holes here or you can reinforce it off. For now, I'm just going to reinforce off this single right here, guys. And I'm going to make a head hole right here. And this will allow me to play bathroom and also get an angle on this master window and basically contest them. Now, like I said, if you want a little bit more safety, you can reinforce that feet hole. And if they jump in, then you can't contest them. But they can wallbang you, so you gotta watch that. Next up, we're going living room/library. This site isn't played that often, but for this video, of course, I'm gonna show you how to do it. Okay, so starting out with this site, go ahead and make a foothole right here for the jump in, and then reinforce beside it, just so they can't wallbang anybody that's playing the little, like, closet gallery area. I actually forgot what it's called. Let's see. Yeah, the gallery area. Okay, I was right. Go ahead and make a rotate on the far right wall. And then you can go ahead and reinforce off this wall just to have some protection. Go ahead and make a feet hole on the far right side. And then reinforce the middle and then the left wall. Reinforce both of these single walls, and we're almost done. If you want, pop this hatch so you can rotate late round. But from here, we're going to look into this 9D hallway, which is very interesting because you can do quite a bit here. So what I personally like to do is I like to make feet holes all around this, just so anybody that's trying to push in, they now are contested at some point, and it's just easier for me to retake if I need to, like coming 90 and dealing with them. Of course, we're just going to reinforce these 90 walls right here. And you can even, if you want, reinforce these 2 double walls. But what's great about this site, once again, is you can play lots of vertical play from above, even though the beams are vertical. So you can get really frisky if somebody tries to run in and get a default plant, or just try to get safe. This site is actually really interesting, and I sadly don't see it played enough. But I definitely do think that it has room for a very competitive part of this map, honestly. Last but not least, we got dining/kitchen, which is probably the best site on this map. Okay, starting out, these feet holes are very common, and it's really up to you which feet hole you want to do, and then the other to reinforce. For example, I'm going to just show you the difference between the two. So, if somebody comes in and the right side's reinforced, they can't get any type of long angle in the site, and then when they push up, they don't have a safety. They have a safety of this reinforcement, but if this wall is reinforced and this one isn't, then they have cover on the left side with the reinforcement and can possibly get this long angle in anybody rotating. So that's really up to you how you want to play it. But pop the laundry hatch here, guys. Personally, I like to just keep it simple. I like to just reinforce this side. Even though it does kind of give them cover, it just gives us cover as well. And at the same time, I can just play behind this and have perspective, basically. But keep that in mind. Make a rotate memo. Make feet holes on the far left. Make a rotate on the far right. The reason why you're not doing it on the far left and vice versa is because for them to walk in this, if this was a rotate, they would be able to take site very easily. But for this to be a rotate, they would have to come super far. Now, this does expose you to bikes or mudroom, but it's honestly worth the risk for what you're trading off. Reinforce the single wall. And then go ahead and reinforce this other single wall. And of course, we're going to go ahead and just reinforce the double memo wall, because this site is, if you neglect it, you're kind of screwed, I'm not going to lie. Now, reinforce beside the rotation as well. And let me show you some vertical holes you should be making. Now, this is bathroom window right here, guys. And basically, they jump in. You can literally slaughter them at the start of the round. I would also pop this hatch, just so if somebody's walking up the staircase or you just want audio, it's there as well. Another hole that you want to make is this master window right here, guys. I did it a little bit far back. You can do both these angles if you want a little bit of protection, but if somebody tries to jump in, you can fry them. If somebody jumps in closet, there is a wooden part, which is right where I'm shooting, as you can tell. You can C4 right here and kill the person closet, or you can even lob a C4 through this hole if they jump in the window. Starting out with laundry piano. Starting out, make the rotate on the left side. Now, the reason why you're doing the left side, you're not going to want to make it all the way to the left because you'll be exposed to shark. But if you make it kind of in the middle-ish, you'll get this perfect rotate. And let me show you why. The wall that I'm reinforcing now, if you make it here, the person that's in bowl, they can get a super long angle and kill anybody trying to rotate. Go ahead and make a head angle on showers, and then reinforce the single that's beside it. After that, reinforce the piano single that's right here. And the reason why you're doing this is so nobody can just easily wallbang you while you're playing behind the B chassis. Of course, I'm going to reinforce off all quad for walls that's facing towards picnic and then bull, because you don't want somebody to get in games control super easy and super quick. Also, that you don't want anybody wallbanging somebody piano through the picnic walls. Next, we're going to reinforce off bull, so we're making them force their body into more random angles or hard angles. And if you want, you can make head holes on the piano here. That is personal preference as well. Now, something I like doing is I like making feet holes here and then reinforcing right here. The reason being, most of the time, if enemies jump in this hallway window, they're kind of stuck now having to take a fight with you. And most of the time, you're going to suck their feet. Now, the last two reinforcements I would use right here on the main wall. Now, I did use one extra reinforcement, which I think was on the rotate to piano. If you guys don't reinforce either the bull walls or even this single wall, which I would highly suggest using the single wall, please use it right here because they can wallbang you while you're in sight and it's super annoying. So I realized I miscounted my reinforcements. Now, also, guys, if you want a cool little tip, you can make shotgun holes for yellow right here. So if an enemy walks up, basically what they're going to be seeing is a whole lot of silliness. They're going to see this and they're going to be like, oh, what is this? Like, okay, that's just, you know, somebody maybe put a C4 or not a C4, like a Velcam up here. But when they walk up, they're not going to be able to just like, you know, find you. They're going to get perspective because how deep this angle actually is. So you basically have a winning gunfight there. So just watch out for the drone hole for people repelling. But besides that, like this is a power position. If you would zombie the drone hole off and just play tucked, and maybe even a zombie off the bottom area or even the lockers, you can hold this area, which is very popular. Same with the staircase. Next up is party room / office. Starting off, make a rotate on the far right wall here. And this isn't... I want to make this something that's more default, guys. It's just... a lot of people don't do this enough. Is make head holes on this quad wall right here. And I'll show you in a minute after I reinforce everything why I do this. Reinforce the far party walls. Literally all 3 of them. Now, if you only want to do 2 of them, I'm not going to lie, guys. I love doing just these 2. And I make a head hole, and then I reinforce the single right here, so you're actually able to play it. And I'll show you how I play around it here in a second, like I said. After you do all this, make a rotate, guys. Right here, of course. Reinforce the main breach. Make a shotgun hole for below when they jump in. Reinforce beside the rotate. Make a feet hole for the garage walk-up. Reinforce beside the garage walk-up. And then let's reinforce the double walls. Now, let me explain to you guys why I made these 2 holes, which you might think that it's overexposing sight. When in reality, you're really not. You're just holding more map control. So if somebody comes in from games, there's so many angles that they have to worry about. They have to worry about by the reinforcement, wide. They have to look at close. And there's so many angles that they have to clear. And it just gives you the ability to actually, like, fight. Pop this hatch, and anybody that's trying to wide swing, like, party, they'll drop down the hatch. I've seen it happen so much. But not only that, is you can play this angle, and it just gives you more opportunity for freedom and control of the map. I forgot to tell you guys, reinforce this and make feet holes here so you can watch the shark walk up. What I'm trying to also explain to you guys is you don't want to box yourself in sight. You want to create lines of sight for you and your teammates to be able to hold the map. It's just you need to know how to play off of the reinforcements and head holes. Next up, we got green / red bedroom. Starting out, make a default rotate on the far right side again. Make a head hole on the far right there. Now, this is default, so you guys are just going to reinforce these double walls. But I see like a really sick mirror setup on this site where you basically keep these walls soft and you place a mirror there facing towards it. And it's dominant, man. Go ahead and just reinforce this far left wall with head holes. And basically what this allows you to do is extend into reptile and just play super wide and out. And it's basically limiting their like safe gunfights. Go ahead and reinforce these back reptile walls as well. And reinforce these bathroom walls. Now, with the head holes here, I would reinforce beside it. And then this would just allow you to have some protection and rotate in between sites. Now, the last reinforcement, you're actually going to have to get the hatch. Because what is Siege without having to reinforce hatches? Of course. Do. Oh yeah, there's 2 hatches. There's the hallway hatch that you definitely need to get when holding downstairs. And then there's upstairs hatch in piano. Which, if they get it, you're gonna probably be screwed, boys. So just get it. Last but not least, we have mechanic shop / kitchen. Now, I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. This site is nowhere great. Okay, like I'm gonna be honest. Don't go to this site. But just for the video, I'm gonna show you how to set it up because I hate myself. Okay, I am not gonna lie. I have not played this site since since old ranked. So I'm literally gonna raw dog this. Okay, so of course, this is motel area, right? Okay. Yo, hold up. I might be able to cook here. So you can make vert like literally everywhere, right? So this is. Oh man. Okay. Okay, hold up. This is party. So you can make vert for the door. Make head holes. And then you're gonna put one reinforcement in the middle. Alright, hold up. Okay, okay. Alright, we're gonna make a head hole here. So, why this site is so bad is because there's so much to hold, and the angles are just so awkward. So what we're gonna do is we're actually just going to place vertical literally everywhere, and we're just gonna play the vert, right? And we're gonna extend above. So a lot of these angles are super aggressive. Castle would be great here as well. I just can't get over how bad this site is, actually. Alright, hold up. Alright, so hear me out, guys. Hear me out, hear me out. Let me cook. So if mirror's up, right? If mirror's up, here's what you're gonna do. Place a mirror right here. What this will do, this will allow you to have this control of sight. And you can basically fight anybody that's coming. And, hear me out. It's gonna throw them off so much because they never attacked this map that they're gonna be shell-shocked. Instead of putting the reinforcement on the other side, place it this way and put a mirror here. And basically, you would be able to see all of sight. You would reinforce the hatch. You would have a castle and I want to say like Echo, Maestro, somebody. You would have castle above with a teammate like Legion or something. And you guys would be holding the vert control so they can't just walk in. Mirror would be giving you the information on point. And you would have another teammate back reptile side with like beepers or even like, let's say, a shield facing that way so they can play the mirror crouched without getting shot in their back. You barricade this door, have a beeper back there, reinforce these two back walls, and you guys are golden. Anyways, this site's basically dog shit. I probably did not cook. I'm sorry. Now we're on Emerald Plains admin / CEO office. Meow, 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 meow. Okay, we're gonna start out. Make a rotate on the left side, so when you rotate, the bomb chassis covers you and, you know, helps you not die. Reinforce the single wall here. Okay, now there's a little bit of a debate between which feet holes you make here. Now, if you make this feet hole, you have direct like line of sight for the enemies walking up, but they also have a line of sight on you. So there's that. But this also just watches for late round. If enemies are walking up in the hallway, you can hold way far back. This kind of does the same thing, but I feel like this adds a little bit more pressure since they don't have like immediate cover. And with this, they can kind of just backtrack, you know? But for a good peace of mind, we're just going to do the feet holes on the far left for late round. I just thought it would make more sense to do the far right. But reinforce off these two walls. Reinforce off the wall beside the rotation station. Creation. Reinforce off one of these gallery walls. Actually, both of these meeting walls, I mean. And then we're going to be heading into gallery here in a second. And the reason why, I'm going to explain in a sec. So when you head over into the little vault area from gallery and reinforce these two walls, this basically makes them use a piece of utility that is going to make so much noise and once again limit their ability to, let's say, open a hard wall, do anything useful, and they can't just buck in and take it quick. Like, they have to show a lot of presence and effort. Make feet holes there. I'm just popping the hatch to pop it. And then from here, honestly, guys, I'm trying to think. Honestly, guys, I'm just going to make head holes on the right side. I can contest them gallery because this area is in sight, guys, as you can tell. We're just doing it to protect around sight. So, yeah. Next up, we're going private gallery / meeting. Now, this is the site where you can actually plan, okay? Starting off, make a rotation right here. Reinforce beside it so you have some protection. Reinforce these back walls because it just... You get so much map pressure if you're able to just play the green hallway or something, you know? I would also make sure to just reinforce off at least 2 of these walls because they can basically get so many crosses on site if they pop the middle or the far right one. But we're going to go ahead and gallery and reinforce these double walls. I mean in vault, not gallery, my fault. And then go ahead and reinforce this last single wall. And then, of course, we have these 2 walls. Now, the difference in these 2 walls is this allows you to have an angle. And then if you make a head hole here and then reinforce that side, you don't. So just reinforce this side. This will protect your team from the breach. Because if this was a head hole, then they can shoot through all this from the breach. But here, that gives that protection. Then you have another angle for that blue area. And hold on, I'm trying to see where the window is. Okay, the window is right there. Honestly, I'm just going to go ahead and reinforce by the rotate. So if you go through the rotate and somebody's on that orange window, you know, you have time to protect yourself. But also, more importantly, if you play the hallway and retake, you can now watch the blue area, the walk-in, like literally everywhere. I actually really like Emerald Plains, by the way. Next up is Bar Lounge. This side is weird, man. Oh my god, I forgot how weird it is. Let's reinforce the back pool wall. Dog, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I've played this in ranked since this map came out, guys. What the actual hell? I'm gonna make head holes and I'm gonna create my own default strat here that everybody should at least learn. Because here's what you could do, technically. You could place a shield on green stairs, guys, and hold the run-in for this wall, which is very default. And at the same time, you're contesting the people in lobby. Now, the problem, of course, would be that if they go outside this main window and just basically camp, they can just hold an angle in A. But honestly, that doesn't really matter because it's not like you're going to be spending your entire time contesting that. When you can also have somebody positioned out here in Mudroom, or even playing side door, or even, you know, like lurking around lobby side. Because all you need to do over here is reinforce off these 2 back walls. And you would basically be playing stock area, more importantly. Or not stock, bar area to hold across. And you can also, I believe, contest the door if they push in. But yeah, basically reinforce off these bar walls to stock. And yeah. I believe there's also quite a bit of vertical play that you can play on this site. Never mind. Let me see how the beams are. Yeah, never mind. My fault. Yeah, like I said, I haven't really played this site very much. But honestly, like, I feel like this would be decent if you stack a bunch of shields and you play denial, like smoke and whatnot. And honestly, even a warden would be really strong here. Last but not least, we're going dining kitchen. Okay, starting out, get these back walls to orange. Open up a rotate on the freezer side. I don't usually like it to make it runnable, but I kind of just messed up shotgunning, so you can just make it however. I'm just making it runnable for now. Usually I make it vaultable. Reinforce off the main wall here. Now, usually Mira's played and she's placed on this wall facing the main breach. So keep that in mind. Put a rotate on the far right here. Reinforce off this main double wall to fountain. Reinforce the main hatch, which I'll show you exactly where that's at. And then reinforce off this single. I like to make feet holes in this hallway. And then I like to put a mirror right here, or I just like to put a reinforcement here. Now, let me put you on to some sauce, guys. Some nice saucy sauce. Okay? Where's the angle? I think it's I have to destroy the top, I think. So, when you're playing site or like when they get to the main breach, if you have an ACOG, you can actually play right here. And since you exploded some of the wall, you can now watch the main breach. Now, of course, that's very effective with an ACOG compared to a hollow. But, you know, you can still get it done. And, of course, the hatch is up here in gallery, guys. Starting off command center / server. Start off by reinforcing IT walls. Make head holes for rafters and for... Or not rafters, warehouse. And then for command center... I'm trying to use compass calls as much as I can for this video, so you're going to see me, like, pinging rooms. Because I just don't want to confuse any of you guys by making a mistake in my comms. Sometimes I just, like, I talk too fast, thinking, and, you know, I guess that hurts my brain. Anyways. Oh, man. Dude. Also, something I noticed doing these videos is I will actually overthink stuff. So I'm like thinking, like, which feet hole makes the most sense? And, of course, it has to be this one, right? Yeah, because then they don't have an angle, right? And then they have to actually push up. I don't know, guys. This, I might be trolling with this wall. I'm super sorry if you guys are new. I'm like 99% sure that this is the right wall. But, like, I'm having a stroke. Anyways, make a rotate into connector, and then we're gonna go ahead and reinforce these two connector walls. Now, extra step that you can do is reinforce this meeting hallway wall, just because it is pretty annoying if you're trying to play like a rat, tuck, bandit trick, anything like that. And use your last reinforcement on this, you know, pillar, single wall. And yeah, that's like a basic top floor. You would basically want to extend into rafters, protect anybody that's in IT, bandit tricking, cage tricking, playing aggressive, etc. And you would basically just be fighting for warehouse control as long as possible. Sometimes you would have a mirror here if mirror's up, and then a mirror on this wall right here. So make sure that you're reinforcing from the inside and not the outer like I did. Next up, we're going kitchen cafeteria. First off, reinforce off the main wall here. And then go ahead and make a head hole there. And the reason why you're making the head hole there and not where I'm reinforcing is because now you have protection from the angle on the main window. And then you have cover while playing back here, and you can't get wall banged if you're swinging. Go ahead and make a head hole here for this jump up. You can basically watch their swing in. Go ahead and make feet holes right here. So if they drop the freezer hatch, you can kill them. Or you can even make a rotate, and this allows you to have more freedom around the map and retake the map if needed. Now, I like to make a rotate into lounge area just so I can hold some more map control and have more freedom and maybe even swing. But this is all personal preference. If you're going to do this, though, guys, reinforce off this single wall and then reinforce beside the rotate hole. Just so you have, once again, more protection, more freedom. And then the most important hatch, which is so silly that you have to do this, is you actually have to run outside at the start of the round. So when you go up the main stairs, you actually go inside meeting. And what I like to do is I actually like to put holes here. And then even like cap cans on these windows. So if somebody tries to chase me or frag me out, they will like not even check for it, right? They're like, oh, okay, bet. And then they'll jump in, and I've gotten plenty of kills doing that. Or I like to put cap cans on this because people will run up trying to shoot me. Like they'll run up literally this staircase at the start of a round, they won't even think. They'll be like, I'm holding him. And then they'll like run in and then boom, they die. Next up, we have control room / storage. Starting out, make a reinforcement right here. Reinforce beside it so you have some protection. Reinforce off single. And then I like to make a rotate for control, but I like to save a reinforcement for late round so I can just reinforce off the wall if needed. So just keep that in mind. You guys are also going to want to extend it in like cafeteria area and just go ahead and just reinforce these back walls. Lounge, not cafeteria, my fault. And you can make a head hole here if you wanted to, but what's great about this site is, once again, you have flexibility to play below and above. I made the wrong shotgun hole. I'm a bot. But yeah, and you can also watch like they're walking to like IT, which would be literally right here, this little IT box, and you can play behind this pillar. But you can also just play below in general, like make a bunch of shotgun holes for the walk-ins, rotate hole, like anything. And like literally everything's like C4able or vertical play, so you can just play tons and tons upstairs. And you can watch everything. Like I've won rounds playing like this, and it's super strong, especially if you have like a maestro cam or something in the corner. Last but not least, we have tank and assembly. Starting out, don't reinforce this, because if they rush into sight and they plant, then they have cover and all they have to do is literally swing you. So you want to make them feel as uneasy as possible. Reinforce this outer single wall. Make a head hole right there. Make a head hole there. Reinforce beside it. And then reinforce the main wall. Go ahead and make feet holes along this cargo wall, and then reinforce beside it. This basically makes it so if anybody runs down the cargo stairs, they basically get their toes licked off, and you get the easiest lick of your life. Like, you just get to suck on toes and have a jolly time. Make feet holes just so you can actually hold from cargo into EXO. And then make head holes on the right side, and then this allows you to have freedom to play and feel safe when someone's coming down the staircase. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to go reinforce some hatches. Yippee! Now on this site you have a total of 3 hatches. For example, you have one that's on the top of cargo stairs. You have one that's also in warehouse, which is literally probably the most important hatch to get. If you don't get this and you're not playing above it by popping it, then you just need to reinforce it. And the very, very last one is over here in vending area, which is right here. Now, what's cool is you can actually make vertical for a quick take. Sorry, by the way, my throat is like low-key killing me from talking. You can, one, put a hole there for anybody that's going to try to walk down the staircase. And one right here for the vending window. And one, I believe it's right... I messed it up. It is not right there. Yo, I'm just gonna make a bunch of holes in the floor. One for the single door, and this is what I was looking for. One for the double door. So you basically have 4 different angles that control so much map control. This would be great as well. Like overall, I just think this would be great. A nice rule of thumb, guys. You gotta watch for people rushing down this hatch with sledge and then rushing down this. Okay, first off, we're starting off with master / R6 room. Starting out, of course, you make head holes right here on the single. Reinforce the main wall. Make head holes on the far right wall there, and then reinforce beside it. Go ahead and make a head hole on the right side of op, and then reinforce beside it. Basically, these create angles where you can contest enemies walking deep op if you get pushed off these angles. This also allows you to, have multiple chances of gunfights. Heading over into actual site, we're going to make a rotate right here in between sites. And we're going to make another one right here as well. Make sure you make it on the far left so you have some protection from the hallway. Compared to this, you literally have the entire hallway. Now, something I like to do is I like to make head holes here. And I basically have a super long angle for if they run in sight. And then I reinforce beside this. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and make a feet hole for main stairs or for bathroom, basically. Because if they jump in, it's another thing they have to worry about. And it's just contesting them and making them feel nice and scared. Be sure to reinforce beside the rotate so you have some protection going in between sites. And something I like to do, this isn't really default, but I kind of want it to start being default, guys, is make a rotate in this little small storage room and then make feet hole here. Now, the reason why you would be doing this is because if you reinforce the right wall here and you guys are actually playing inside, this will actually free up your teammates and this will create another angle that enemies have to worry about when they're pushing around site. So if you play nice and tucked, you can shoot feet. You can even sit back here, and it's going to be harder for them to push into sight. Like, the angle goes super freaking deep, as you can tell. So, yeah. But usually people just reinforce this, and that's it. Next up, we have bunk slash briefing. Starting out, this side's pretty interesting, not gonna lie. Reinforce this back. Little walls right here. And then from here, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be making rotate and sight. You're going to reinforce beside this wall so you don't get wall banged if you're actually playing inside sight. Reinforce these back two walls. Reinforce off this far right wall. And then beside it, you're going to be making head holes. And then from here, you're actually going to... I want to put feet holes here. And the reason why you would actually do this is because when they try to collapse on site, you can play and watch their walk-in and contest them. And I just find it's a lot better, and it kind of like acts off this head hole. Because what I notice on this side is people just play site, and they kind of just beat their meat, and nothing good happens. The hatch, though, you have to go and get the hatch, though, guys, because, you know, it is the hatch, so it hatches, yay. I hate hatches. So we're gonna go ahead and reinforce the hatch. But usually what people tend to do, like more advanced default players, is they're actually gonna play vertical play. So you're basically going to be having to play lots and lots of vert up here, extending, making vert holes. So if they walk in from this breach, they can't really go for a default plant, which is usually around there. And then you can even watch it at the door. And yeah, but I don't know. If you guys are new to the game, you probably are not going to feel comfortable enough to do that. Okay, now we're headed to the other site. We're going to go ahead and reinforce off this little cute projector wall, which just looks so lovely. Now, the thing about this site is it is very, 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 very boring. It's actually quite a difficult site to hold compared to the other three that's on this map. But yeah, so we're gonna make a head hole. We're gonna reinforce. Usually, what people do on this site is play lots and lots of heavy roaming and vertical. So I'll show you some of the things that people do, but just give me 1 second. I just gotta finish reinforcing simulator. Okay, so what people usually do on this site is they will hold vertical control from below. So, for example, they'll have the hatch popped. They'll be playing a pulse. They'll let their teammates try to hold it down. And the thing that's interesting is this site has no vertical play from above, only below. And this one has vertical play from above, but not below. So you have lots and lots of opportunities to actually play above and even pop the hatch if you wanted to. But honestly, guys, I'm not going to lie. Do not play this site. It takes like a 5 stack to actually make this one work. I'm not a big fan of it. I'm gonna be honest. Last but not least, we have lab. Starting out, make a rotate right here. Put a head hole right there. You can reinforce off this single wall, of course. Go ahead and make feet holes. just to make them uncomfortable. Reinforce off this single wall. Reinforce beside the head hole you just made over here, which would be right here. Guys, I'm not gonna lie, I've been talking for like 3 hours in a row with all these site setups, and my vocal cords are actually hurting. Reinforce this lab, I guess, exit back wall. I don't think I've ever called this lab exit, by the way. I've called it like closet or connector or something like that. That's the problem with some default comms, is that they just don't make sense in my opinion. So, but anyways, so you reinforce all of site like this. You want to go ahead and go into warehouse and actually reinforce off warehouse as well, because warehouse is a very, very prominent entry point for a lot of the attackers, and it's how they start their attacking round. Really good teams will get vertical play, so get used to that once you like start playing at a more high efficient level. But usually this is a good starting point. People go barrels, people go warehouse, and they try to like pinch, you know, defenders. But we're gonna go ahead and get the hatches. So there's one hatch right here, and the other hatch is right above B site. Which once again, I don't think a lot of like average ranks, because this map is one of the most like disliked maps since how new it is. This and Emerald Plains, I would say. But yeah, this is literally how you set up Lair.